All right. I got a cup of fancy-ish hot chocolate. I'm Zach Sloan. That's Aunt Luna. Welcome to the
And
Break
Luna,
Free vlog blog thing.
welcome. I do not have fancy-ish hot chocolate this morning, but that's okay.
Yeah, but
I do have a fancy setup today.
every
I am live from, well, not live at the moment, but from Buchanan Hall at Eastern New Mexico University. So I am on stage as Zach and I prepared to tell you about some of our stage disasters, really.
stage mishaps. I love that, like, every video we do, I'm broadcasting from my home studio, and like you're usually in the sun or on a bench or in a freaking concert hall.
I'm a little bit of a gypsy, but you know.
You are, but you're one fabulous gypsy, Ann.
Thank you.
So since you're on stage, why don't you tell us a little bit about an on-stage mishap?
Okay, so just so happens I have a very recent on-stage mishap to tell you about that happened a week ago.
Dude,
So this is still on my mind.
it's fresh.
It's fresh. Okay, so we were at this very nice venue, Star City Studios in El Paso with the Hard Road Trio. And this is first set also. And we're doing Mariano, which is a tune by Robert Earl Keen. And we started off really slow, and there's a lot of space in this, right? And so it's just guitar. And then bass and vocals come out, and there's these big sustained bass notes, and then this vocal line. So right off the bat, I blow it. Like I enter at the right place, and I play the first note right, but it's either the second or the fourth, and it's really obvious, first of all, when you're a bass player, and it's the only big note that's there.
Yeah.
So I immediately throw myself off, and then I start thinking about it, 'cause this is what tripped me up first, is I started thinking, no, I should go to the E. And my fingers were trying to go to a G, so my body knew where to go. So I've done this how many times, So immediately throw myself off because I overthought it. And then once I'm thrown off, there's, like 7 verses to the song. There's a lot of words. So after I've thrown myself off with chords, I skip a verse and I start freaking out. And so while I'm scrambling for verses, because I don't know what to do, because I've totally messed up I don't know whether to go back and grab this verse that I missed, but I can't even remember it. I can't remember the next one either that I usually do. So fortunately, I've got good bandmates, and so I look over to Steve Smith and it's like, yeah, you need to take a solo like now. And so he does, and it's beautiful. And I still can't remember the words. And so I make him take a second solo only in the middle where we don't do it. And, and I get it back, and we go along, and it's fine. But yeah, so in the moment, I start wondering if I can carry on at all. Because my chest starts getting kind of congested, and I'm wanting to totally back away and run and hide, and I can't. Yep. Or stop playing or something. And then I start doubting everything. It's like, oh no, I'm a fraud. People have been telling me I'm a good musician for years, and they're all wrong. Look at me mess this up. And so
yeah,
I know. And keep in mind, all of this negative thinking happens within approximately 5 seconds. And then I can drag that out. But yeah, it's like this, like you are worthless, that happens really quick. So there you go. There's my very recent, still painful flub on stage.
And I think that's a very familiar thing. I don't know any musician who hasn't had that experience.
And usually I'm fine. Usually, like I said,
it's one of my favorite songs you guys do.
And it's a great tune, and it's one that people will come up to the CD table afterwards and say, "Hey, do you guys have?" And they still did, even after my flubbed performance. Which
really, wow. So let's think about that. Even after, was that the worst you ever played it?
On stage.
On stage. Okay, fair enough. On stage. So that's the worst you ever played it on stage. Yet everybody watching the crowd still wanted to buy that song, like no matter how bad it was. And
at least one person that maybe had never heard it before. Whatever the case, it wasn't as bad as in the moment I was feeling it was.
But so people still
was very helpful.
I think there's two things to that. One is that it's a really, really good song. Two is that your band is really good. Like you had that moment of self-doubt, but anybody who's ever heard you play or sing knows you're good. And we've talked about the self-doubt before.
Right. Thanks for being the voice of self-affirmation today, Zach. You've switched from inner critic to...
Well, I'll tell you what it is like just yesterday I was listening to Suze Polinsky's podcast, and she was talking a little bit about this too.
Right.
About how, like, there's like this fraud talk. I'm not it.
Right.
But you are definitely talented. And think of how awesome it is that you have a bandmate like Steve Smith, where you can be like two unplanned solos, and he's like, dude, I'm a mando player. This is what I do. Like,
sure.
Yeah. No, that speaks well of the song, of course, but also you've got a really good band.
Yeah. No, and that's definitely, it's beautiful when that happens. It's not always the case. Sometimes it's the complete train wreck where one person messes it up and the rest of the band falls apart.
Well, and I'll say
that's happened before. I've done that too, just so you know.
Yeah. Well, in our next video, we'll talk a little bit more about the steps to mitigate these things.
Right. Zach, want to share your embarrassing moment?
I'm going to give you the 30-second one because it was so traumatic I almost stopped playing. It was not that long ago. I'd been playing for a long time, which is funny that both of you and I are thinking of things that we've been playing for the better part of 20 years now.
Exactly.
And like, I'm thinking of something that happened in the past too, where I was playing in a band and we got an encore, and we weren't expecting an encore, and we had the exact amount of material for that song, for that show.
Right.
And so somewhere, either it was me or somebody else in the band is like, oh, let's play The Wait by the band. We've rehearsed it before. It went fine. And in my head, I was like, that sounds like a good idea. But it was not. Like, we train wrecked it so hard. And a song that everybody knows, and it was so bad that I literally went home that night and was like, I think I'm going to quit the band.
Because in the moment, you kind of feel like you're going to die. Or you would like to you'd just like to not be there.
But yet, like Ann said, neither of us died.
Neither of us died.
In our next video, you're going to hear about a little bit of tips, tricks, and holy shit. Wait, don't say that thing. It came to me and I was like, that's funny, but that's probably not appropriate. Watch our next video where we're going to talk about some tips and tricks and how we handle these things on stage and then in the aftermath. Thanks for hanging out with Ann and I.